Umar bhai, welcome to our podcast to Trigger Guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Umar bhai, I know about you and your journey, but I would like you to share your journey briefly with our audience.
Sure. So my journey begins from when obviously I'm middle class, just like everyone watching this video, or most of the people. But I would say my journey began when I was 15 years old, and I wanted money for fitness, of course, because I wanted to join the gym after my school, and I did not get that money from my parents, from my family. So what happened? I decided that I'm not going to sit at home like everyone else, and I'm going to do something about it. So I started my fitness journey. I got into fitness. I learned about fitness there. I developed a business around it. उसके बाद I got introduced to financial markets. I got into trading. I got into investing. And वहाँ से since the last 5 years I have not looked back. And right now I run a hedge fund in Dubai. I live in Dubai, and luckily I got the chance to be over here due to a project I'm developing on e-commerce. So that's why I keep traveling on India back and forth. So now, fast forward today, 5 years, I've built multiple businesses. I'm running multiple businesses and still building. So yeah, that's something about me. I also happen to be a YouTuber with a significant audience. So yeah,
Possible, I discovered you.
yeah, right,
In the trading zone, for beginners right now, if you would have to start everything all over again,
right.
what would you do?
I would. Depends. There are a lot of
Factors.
a lot of factors depending on the person you are. But if I had to talk about myself, I know for a fact that I am a valuable person. I bring value to the table. So I would find someone who is, let's say, an unfit and fat trader, but he's good at what he does. So I would offer him to be his personal trainer and to coach him for free, just to get some insights from him from trading, because I know for a fact that I can provide value. So, and a lot of people actually try this with me, but you also have to understand the value proposition that you're giving. Is it close to what the person is giving you in return? Like, for example, let's say someone offers me, okay, I'll do graphic designing for you. You teach me trading. But my friend, graphic designing is something that comes very cheap. No disrespect to them, but I can hire just anyone. Hire a 18-year-old and give him 500 bucks, he'll make things happily for me, for my own cousin. But on the other hand, if I'm going to teach him trading, that's $1 million skill, multi-million, it's priceless. So that's also something you have to see. But if I have to summarize, I would find someone, I would find a good mentor who knows this stuff, who has already made it big, and just stick with that person all along and see if he genuinely wants to help me out. If I cannot take that route, I would just learn from the successful people on social media. That's a big, I would say, another topic to discuss. But yeah, I would just find a roadmap. I think all people need is a roadmap, because people try their people go to trial and error in everything they start. So just get a roadmap and stick to it, and have faith. That's all. That's how I would do. That's what I would do.
So like mainly it's the stay around winners to be a winner.
Absolutely. I think that applies in everything in life.
Beginner traders and especially the families around us, everyone still think that trading and all is gambling.
Right.
So being a trader, does that like offend you? And if it does, so how do you like explain it?
It absolutely does not offend me, because trading is gambling. Now, why do I say that? Is because the way you do it, if you do it the way most people do it, is absolutely gambling without risk management and without a such system. So when people say that trading is gambling, I absolutely agree with that. Because yeah, exactly what you are doing is gambling. What I'm doing is not gambling, because I'm following a system and a strategy. So it does not offend me at all.
So it's like subjective thing.
Absolutely.
As a professional trader right now, been
Right.
trading for so many years,
Yep.
what skills do you think are like necessary for people who are either beginners or like intermediate level?
In terms of trading or in terms of life?
Trading mainly.
In terms of trading, I think self-discipline and emotional stability is something that's very, very highly important. And I believe I've got that from trading itself, because I was not emotional stable at all. And that is what you need. And that is what I have developed through trading, not outside of trading. And that's what you need basically. If you learn to control your emotions, that's very well in trading.
I've been trading a little bit. So this is my personal question. Ki trading, is it like you go and you just buy low and buy high, or is it like competitive thing, like player versus player.
It's absolutely player versus player. I think everything in life is player versus player. And in trading, you're competing with the smartest people that are in the financial markets. So you have to be smarter than them. You have to make sure you're buying where they are buying. You're selling where they are selling. So you have to be smart. Of course, it's player versus player because your loss is someone's gain. Your gain is someone's loss. Because if you think that this is the price where I have to buy, someone else is thinking this is the price I have to sell. And that's why they're selling it to you. So you can buy. So obviously player versus player. You have to be smart because you're competing against people that want to take your money from you. And that should piss you off. Because who are they to take your money from you? You're smarter than them.
Agreed, agreed. So like initially did that affect you? I'm a retail trader and I cannot beat these guys around.
Absolutely not. I have never ever doubted my capabilities and I've never ever thought that I'm not going to be rich. So absolutely not.
Right now, see, there are lots of news going around in the trading zone. Uh, Firstly, I would like to ask your opinion on extended trading hours right now in India.
Right.
What do you think? Is it like good or bad for traders?
I think extended hours is a good thing as long as the big players are involved because you see Indian markets are categorized into three phases. The first is the early morning move. Mid time, the mid is the lunch time where big players go for lunch, where markets go sideways, and the end is the post lunch move.
Hmm.
So now the extended hours depends whether people would like to go ahead and play around with money because even if the time is extended, if the big players are not moving money, it's going to be absolutely useless because we need a move to make money out of it.
Right.
So completely depends. Since I'm out of the Indian markets, I can't say much because I haven't seen move aata hai ya nahi aata hai. But yeah, I would say it depends on the move.
Still, like follow the big waves.
Absolutely, yeah.
And apart from that, like the crypto scenario right now, the crypto, all the crypto market is going haywire. Everything is getting hacked and stuff. Like you personally experience some issues with crypto zone right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what do you think? Like, what's the reason all of this is happening at the same time?
It's all planned. It's all everything. Obviously, it is planned. There are a certain number of people that run the world that control everything that's going to happen, and that's why everything happens. So such a stimulation that first FTX went down, then now Binance is on the verge of crashing. So obviously, I believe everything is pre-planned, and that's why it's happening in a certain cycle before the US election where people need funding. So obviously, it's a very big picture that people don't understand, that people are not able to see.
Which Andrew Tate right now is like a spokesperson of that.
Yeah,
He speaks like it's the Matrix who are controlling you. Are you a pro Tateist? I would say
absolutely.
you are pro red pill.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what are your personal opinions on red pill right now? Even I'm pro red pill to an extent. So I
So
like
you are
that.
asking my opinion on
The red pill life, the grind, clanging and banging.
absolutely. I think every individual needs to think in that particular way, but not everyone is going to be or become that certain way because as more and more people realize this, the competition is going to get harder and harder. So not everyone who thinks that they know about the red pill is going to be successful. So become rich and become rich soon as possible. That's my advice. And I also believe that there are people who need to take the blue pill because somebody has to flip the burgers at McDonald's. So, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because, like I said, it's going to be become difficult and difficult. So the people that have come to a realization that okay, this is something that exists and I have to get out of that. You have to be quick. That's all I would say.
Right. Apart from like trading zone, what do you think helped you the most in your journey as in life, in your life overall?
I would
Skills basically.
I would say it has to be networking. 100%.
Networking.
Networking, yes. And I happen to be very lucky when it comes to networking because now I am learning from a very professional networker who has built huge teams and who manages a lot of big organizations. So I happen to be a very lucky student of his. So now I'm very full-fledged into networking now because that's something that has helped me really immensely.
So if
Because
someone needs to become rich, like the number one skill you say should be networking.
absolutely. But networking is one thing. Like, let's say I know the president or the prime minister of India, but if I don't have any value to provide, then I'm basically just a contact in their particular list. So networking is something that becomes very important when you become a person of value. If you don't have any value to provide, then networking may not bring you a lot of benefits.
What do you do like specifically when you say networking? Because like I have many friends who know why rich, you want to become rich, start networking, create your own network. Network is net worth, but no one knows key how to create a network. Everyone is like confused, like college jaake okay, meet friends and 500 people, that thing.
So obviously it brings me back to the first point, obviously, which is value. So you have to become a person of value. That's the very first thing. Because networking among the people that you know might not be as beneficial. So you have to make sure that whenever you are going out to network, it has to be with someone who is much better than you. Just like you've come here for a podcast. It has to be someone that's better than you, who's doing more than you. Now the real question is, why would someone important give you their time? And that question answers the value that you bring on the table. So the very first thing that a person should focus on is becoming a person of value.
So becoming a person of value and creating personal wealth as in खुद की एक इमेज बनाना एक पर्सनालिटी बना एक कैरेक्टर बनाना would be largely helpful.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the first step. Yes.
Okay, okay. I want a personal opinion on like the internet gurus, I would say, finance gurus. Internet many are fake, of course, everyone
Right.
knows. So, what do you think? And you can take names. It's like, okay.
Okay. But obviously, I wouldn't want to take any names because that's me giving attention to them.
Fair enough.
But I recently made a podcast on this, which is obviously there's a private community I run, which not a lot of people know about. But I posted a podcast there. The podcast is titled "Stop Playing the Clowns," and I'll explain why I titled that. Because most of the people, and now what I'm about to say might be a little controversial, but I think that most of the people that are highly famous are the type of people who have done things that are out of their work ethic value, that are out of their line of lifestyle or principles. Because so basically, what I mean is, I'm not the type of person who would wear mustaches, who would dress up as a woman, or just to make a few freaking stupid reel. Right? That's something. There's a line I would not cross. But most of the people that have millions of followers, you can see that they have done this. So I believe most of these people that are highly famous are absolute clowns because they are crossing over the line of principle and the lines that they have made for themselves. So that's what makes them a clown. Now the second thing which I'm about to come to is basically, let's say you are a finance creator, okay, and you know a lot about finance. So if you know so much about finance, why are you not managing millions of dollars? Why are you coming on social media? Why are you coming on Instagram and becoming a clown, trying to sell things to people? That's a question. That's a question that all the people that are watching this should ask themselves. That why am I paying this particular clown that just comes in front of my phone every single morning? I open Instagram and dances wearing mustaches and becoming women if they're not.
This thing was highlighted by Tate, I would say again. Like he said about business teachers, he said your business teachers themselves are not rich, they do not own any business, they
Absolutely.
drive a Fiat or something. Then why are you learning business from them? They are
Absolutely.
not rich themselves.
And you know that's the thing. The I would say the drawback of social media is the people that are actually making millions of dollars, the people that are actually doing things, don't cross this line of principle, and that's why they don't become famous. And that's exactly why it is difficult for people to find out who people who are genuinely successful, people who are genuinely doing what they practice, what they preach, and that I would say is what makes it difficult to find out genuine people who are actually doing well for themselves and they want people to do good. Like for example, if you look at me, I if you go to my YouTube channel, I have never done a paid promotion unless and until it is about something that I personally use. So the last 2 years, I can open my phone right now and I'll show you. If I just refresh my email, that will be a mail from a digital marketing agency asking me to do promotion. But that is a line I don't cross because I will never promote something that I don't personally use. So in the last 2 years, the two promotions that I have done are of the things that I personally use. Right, so that's a line I don't cross because I could have made thousands and thousands of dollars every single month if I just decide to do promotions. But that's a line I don't cross because I'm a man of principle. But most of these people walk over this line, they cross their line, and that's how they get more and more famous. Because there's more money pumping into your organization, more money pumping into your social media, and that's how you get more and more famous.
So like these online internet gurus, they sacrifice or I would say
They sacrifice
compromise
their
on their
personality.
dignity
Absolutely, yeah.
for just mere some dollars. And if they
Absolutely.
are really financial advisors or gurus, they should not be doing these stuff for some money, right?
Absolutely. So you have to think that if this person is actually so good at finance, if he actually knows what he's talking about, why does he need a few $1,000 from a stupid company that wants them to wear a mustache and act like someone else they are not?
I would like to ask you, being a trader, you of course are a trader since a young age. So, like after trading, what were the lifestyle changes you experienced before trading and after trading?
I think I started looking at everything when it comes in terms of risk, in terms of ROI. Whether the time I'm spending with people, I looked at the risk and the ROI. Whether it's an activity that I'm doing, I looked at the risk and the ROI. So I think it really gave me a sense of, I would say, risk analogy or risk analysis over day-to-day things.
Did trading after a one point become for you like a game basically?
Absolutely. I think the entire
Press buttons and just
yeah.
price goes up, numbers increase, sell. Press
I
the
think
button.
I think not just trading, my entire life has become a game for me at this point because yesterday only I was in BKC with my team. So I went to the mall. I went into Steve Madden. I saw a nice shoe and I was like, just give this to me. So the guy asked me, are you going to wear it for again? I just told him I'm going to wear it off the shop. And I just wore that shoe. I came out. The friend that was there with me, I was just telling him that life is basically a game. So whatever money is, what is money? You have to ask yourself because money is something that the government is telling you that it has value, but actually it's just a
It
piece
has
of
been
paper.
created.
Absolutely, it has been created. So you are telling me that if I do a certain activity, I can get more and more numbers in my bank account, which will buy me things that I desire. So if you're telling me by doing something, it will increase the number in my bank account, and I can just do and buy whatever I want, then isn't that just a game?
But at the same time, like the people who are giving us the numbers are manufacturing or creating the numbers.
Absolutely, yeah.
That seems to be a bit unfair.
Absolutely, I think the entire world is unfair. It's just how it is, bro. Whether the faster you accept that and the faster you work towards that, the faster you succeed.
You said your life has become a game. I would say your life, if your life is a game, it would be GTA because you like open packages with an axe and stuff.
Right? Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Uh, you moved to Dubai at 19, right?
Correct.
Dubai, how is Dubai financially better than Mumbai or India? I would say
In terms of spending or in terms of earning,
both, but mainly earning.
just the fact that the currency is much stronger makes it 23 times better than India because one dirham is 23 rupees.
23.
That's why I said 23 times. And the level of opportunities you get there is obviously amazing. And you would never get that kind of opportunities over here.
Great networking opportunities.
Absolutely. So you have to understand. What I believe I am very, very bullish when it comes to Gulf countries and the people that have and the countries that have, kingdom ruling. I'll tell you why. Because these democracies and the government that is there in the entire world, what usually happens is when a certain person comes into ruling, they get a certain period of year to come into ruling. First few years, they take that time to actually understand how the country works because most of them are stupid and uneducated, right? And the moment they understand how the things work, that's the moment the period gets over and someone else comes into control. So all the projects they start, all the things they start comes to a halt, and then the second person comes in, and that person decides whether this project is going to continue or is going to stop. On the other hand, if you look at Gulf countries where there is kingdom rule, there are kings and families that have been ruling since ages and ages. So they absolutely don't care about certain a project. If they start something, it has to finish. And they don't care whether my period is going to finish and someone else is going to come into rule. The rule is going to change only when they die. So they plan for generations, and that's why they're always going to be better, right? So that's why I'm so bullish on I would say Gulf countries because that's something. And I actually forgot what your question was, or why I was talking about Gulf countries.
Dubai and India difference.
Right. So now coming back to that particular point, why how is Dubai better? So now, like I told you, if you're smart, you're gonna realize what I just told you. So you're gonna want to move to Dubai, right? And if everyone wants to move to Dubai, things are gonna get difficult and difficult for people to move to Dubai because Dubai is a very small place. So as a government, what would you do? You would make it difficult for broke people to come in, except for the people that are coming in for jobs. Right, so you would make it difficult, and it's actually getting difficult by the way. Just so you know, that the tourist visa. So if you go to Dubai on the tourist visa, you can extend it by staying in Dubai. But now they have cancelled that. So you have to exit. You have to leave the country. Government is like, government like, fuck off. I'll see you again. You take another flight and come back with another tourist visa if they approve it. The tourist visa used to be 90 days. They have shortened it to 60 days. So you're going to be here only for 60 days.
So now they're making it rarer and rarer for
Absolutely, yeah. Yes.
For our audience, if you would like to share, since you have a bit of experience in the real world, I would say,
Right.
what did you realize is the harsh reality of the world?
Harsh reality of the world, I would say,
Especially of the business world, because it is very competitive.
right. So I think the harsh reality when I realized is when I went out of India. Because in India, I would say if I have to appreciate India, it's not that bad when it comes to cutting throats of people when it comes to business. Because we have some degree of brotherhood and unity towards each other. But in Dubai or anything out, if you go outside of the India, it's not there. They will literally crush you to go get over you and become better than you. So it's cutthroat. That's the harsh reality I would say when it comes to business. Yes.
That's
Yeah. So that's when I actually realized why our parents used to say that don't trust people, don't trust people, don't trust people. It's not as good. But we have never actually had such experiences like this in India because people are relatively nice. But outside, it's not. It's not like that at all.
cutthroat means
Absolutely. Cutthroat. They'll crush you, bro. They'll crush you. They don't care if you go out of business. They don't care if you don't have a place to live. They don't care. They'll just cut through.
I want to ask you, since you started the YouTube channel and all, why did you get into this line or this field of teaching and finance teaching?
Okay. So first, I would say that the point when I started YouTube, I did not have the mindset that I have today. Absolutely. But the intent of starting was to help out people as much as I can. And that's why I continued posting for a year, even though I had only 2,000 subscribers. Because my aim was not to use the subscribers. That's why I continued posting. My aim was to help people. Because I had a very tough trading journey. So I wanted to help and make it easier for people. That's why I started all together.
Did you expect at any point that you would like be at this position, like
Absolutely
like
not.
subscribe?
No, absolutely not.
It started off as a side quest.
Yeah.
What do you think about personally like relationships and all? Not just formal, I mean, right?
Okay. You're talking about intimate relationships.
Right.
Okay. Very interesting question. So I would say, especially for the teens that are watching this, relationship is something that, again, you have to be a person of value. Very, very firstly, that's the most important thing. Because your relationship is not going to pay your bills. Your relationship is not going to make you successful. It's not going to stand for you when everything goes south. So I would say get rich first and then come into relationships later on.
Build your value first.
Absolutely, yeah. Become a person of value. I think that's every person that is watching this, that should be your number one priority.
I think being in a relationship right now would, of course, be a huge like seesaw, like imbalance to like work life thing.
That's I think that's manageable. But what I believe is when you're growing and when you're fixing your mindset, it's very important to remain alone and single. You know why? Because if let's say you find out that okay, there is something exists out of this 9 to 5, I have to change that. And let's say you have a girlfriend. What you have to do now is you are convinced you have to make her understand that as well. And then you have to work in that particular direction. Because if you work in that direction without explaining your partner, she's just going to ask you, what the hell are you doing? Right? And most people are dumb. So the fact that you have realized this yourself is a big thing in itself. And now you're thinking you can explain that to someone else, that's going to be difficult. So I believe when you're going through a lot of change in life, you have to be single and you have to be alone because it makes it a lot easier.
Like since you are a pro red pill, I know.
Right.
What do you think about work-life balance? Should it be as extreme like you, or should it be more in gray region?
I think that already exists, and everyone who's in the gray area is in the 9 to 5. So you are either working or you're not working. Every single, I would say the moment I open my eyes is the moment I start working, and the moment I close my eyes to sleep is the moment I stop working because this is work. Before this, I was working. Before this, I was working. Before this, I was in a call. I told you. After this, I have a call at 4:30, like I told you, which I'm supposed to be in right now. let me see. Yeah. So, yes, like I said, you are either working or you're not working. The gray area is for the 9 to 5.
What is your end goal in life as general, financially and informally in life?
Okay. So, in life, I would say, obviously, to have so much money that I can do whatever I want. And a lot of people might think that I have already achieved that. But let's say if I want to buy out Apple, I don't have $1 trillion. So I need to have $1 trillion. So I'm still not where I'm supposed to be in terms of financial stability as well. But when it comes to things apart from financial stability, I would want to have a lot of people. I want to build a lot of people. I want to make a lot of people successful so that I have a lot of people that are ready to die for me. Because I believe in the near future, currencies and money is not really going to matter a lot. It's the influence that you have with people, it's the power that you have over people, and it's the relationships that you have over people. So let's say an apocalypse comes and everything goes zero. Obviously, money has no value in an apocalypse. So how are you going to conquer the world? By having more people. The level of influence you have is what's going to determine your power. So I believe I want to make as many people successful as possible, which I am already on the path of that. I've already started something new. I've already started a business which revolves around that particular concept. So I'm already helping people become successful as much as they can and genuinely taking interest in their life, genuinely making them successful, genuinely helping them with things that has helped me. So not for commercial purposes at all. So I'm not getting paid to help them at all. Just for the goal of helping people as much as I can. So one day, so I'll tell you about my inner circle, right? So it's as simple that the people that are very, very close to me, no one is gonna. So let's say if a fight happens downstairs, okay, and I hit someone. The people that are with me, they are not going to come in and ask what happened. First, they're going to beat up that person and then they will ask me what happened. Even if it's my fault, they will ask me. So, the motto that we run by is we all die or nobody dies. Brother oriented. Absolutely, yeah.
That I think is a factor missing in our world and especially in my generation right now.
Absolutely. I think that's everywhere.
I am an avid consumer of podcasts, and this is what I heard in a podcast. Joe Rogan, basically, if you know.
Okay.
He said that this is a quote: "Hard times create hard men,
Yeah.
and hard men
I've heard, yes.
create soft times. Soft times create soft men, and soft men create hard times."
Absolutely, yeah. That is true.
Where do you think we are right now?
I think that depends on people to people. So I would say if I talk about myself, my father was at the absolute bottom because my entire family. So before my father, my grandfather was at the top where he created easy times, and that's why his sons ended up losing everything. And my father went to absolute zero. Then he worked for 15 years from absolute zero, and then he worked his way up in the corporate. So sorry. So I wouldn't say I started from absolute zero. I would say in that particular cycle, I started on a foundation which was built by my father, for which I am absolutely grateful. But it was not very high where we were rich. It was that we had shelter, food, and water, and the basic necessities. So I'm building on top of that. So I believe I was born in relatively difficult times, and that's why I am where I am. And I intend on recreating. So now, what's interesting is when you become very, very successful, the biggest concern that you have as a rich individual or as a successful individual is that you don't want to give your children very, very easy times because you don't want them to end up busting up your empire. Right, so I think that's one of the biggest challenges, and how you deal with is really crucial. But I'm not even married, so that's something I'll have to think about a few years later.
So you have personally experienced this cycle firsthand, basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
Lot of our audiences, almost everyone has watched the web series Scam 1992.
Right.
Have you?
Yes.
There's a very famous dialogue from that. Risk hai to ishq hai,
Yeah.
which is directly related to like stock market and
Correct.
stuff. What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely stupid because of the terms people use into and how people use it. Because people don't even know the risks they are taking. So obviously, I understand. So you have to understand where this is coming from. This is coming from taking risks. And obviously, taking risk is a very good thing if you are taking risk at the right at the right place. So if you're telling me you're gonna go on top of the terrace and stand there for 10 hours, that's a stupid risk to take. Because what's the ROI? So you have to understand that risk hai to ishq hai comes from the fact that you have to take good and calculated risks because that will be responsible of the take risks you are taking because that risk will generate a return. That's the entire reason to take a risk in the first place. So take risks that will generate returns, not stupid risks like doing anything foolish. Since you live in Dubai, yeah, I would like to ask you, how does money buy happiness? Because I know money does absolutely. If you know how to Yes. buy right things. How does money buy happiness? Okay, so it's a very simple thing actually because depends on what you want as a person. Now, anything that you want as a person, money is going to help you get that. So that's how money buys happiness. So money is just a tool that you use to get things that you want, which bring you happiness. So if this particular hot chocolate gives me happiness, I'm gonna use money to get it. And yeah, that's how money buys happiness. So it's a tool that you use to get things that bring you happiness. I would like to quote Jordan Belfort here. Money is fun coupons. Fun coupons. The more you have, the more you can have fun. Yep, absolutely. What since my audience is filled with like Gen Z, my target audience is Gen Z basically. So what would be your message to my audience or to Gen Z? Okay, so I think the best advice is already given that become a person of value. But I would like to add some things to that build certain principles in life that this is a line I'm not going to cross. This is something that I'm not going to do. I have certain ethics and values. Build that because that is very, very rare. And as a man, you need that to succeed in life. Build principles and value. See what has been in your family, what has been running in your family, because there are a lot of values that I have picked up from my own father. So having principles and values is very, very important because if you don't stand for anything, then you stand for nothing. So you need to have values and you need to have principles in place, which you are going to die but not cross. So if you want to summarize for a viewer right now, so I would rather die than turning up my own brother. I would rather die than betraying my own brother. I would rather die than I would take a bullet for my brother, but I won't let him take a bullet in front of my eyes. That's the principle I live by. One of the principles I live by. This this principle is like really going away because around me and around you also, I think you must have seen brothers are fighting for monetary stuff. Right. Yeah. And this quality should be there, but it is fading away. I think that's again subjective because as brothers, if you don't have anything monetary, then what do you have to fight about? So I believe again that's something I was very privileged to not have because that's how me and my brother have developed this particular relationship because we went through hard times together. So even mindset plays in. Absolutely, yeah. If you want to summarize for our audience, from what you said, being a valuable person, being a person of value, yeah, having a good network and building one strong network, yes, of people who are of value themselves. Yep. These two are the main key, and then having a skill, valuable skill. Yes, absolutely. These three things are like the first step one should take to like become a high value man. Absolutely, yes. So continue to work on skills that increase your value and continue to working on that because even if you develop success to some extent, you have to keep on working on a higher level skill. So, like I said, I have developed trading, I have developed fund managing, I have multiple skills. Now I'm working on networking heavily, heavily. I'm giving most of my time to that. And now I'm working on building people, making people successful. Because if you make people successful, there's no possibility that you don't end up successful. So I think that's the best way to really succeed in life. Because what's the best feeling other than someone coming up to you and saying that because of you my life changed. Umar, bhai, because of you, my life changed. Absolutely, yeah. No, genuinely, you have been a mentor to me during my stock market like journey. So here I would like to wrap up this episode. Thank you, Umar bhai, for being on the show. Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.